the sprint review and planning meeting. Let's wait a couple of minutes for people to join.
So
Lukash, people were asking me about the meeting URL. Of course, I have it, but I'm just wondering if it's posted. Lucas is asking me about it.
Yeah, I posted the link, but hopefully people should be able to join via the Google Plus page as well. Can you confirm it? Can you try joining via the Google page?
So I would guess Lucas joined now as Avocado Test Framework. Yes.
yeah, that's the problem with the link. The link is from the Avocado Test Framework page. So everybody who joins using that link should switch their profile at the bottom of the joining page.
Okay, I will leave then and try to join again.
That link should switch the profile.
Yeah, I think that's minor. There's no obligation to do it this time.
Okay, I will leave then and try to join again.
That link should switch the profile.
Yeah, I think that's minor. There's no obligation to do it this time.
It's up to you.
And please, unless we are going to speak, let's keep ourselves muted.
Muted.
Okay, do we expect other guests or should we start already? By the way, out of curiosity, did you guys join via the Google Plus page or via the link on IRC?
I joined from the link. I guess we should also promote the YouTube link for the transmission.
Well, I tried that and it didn't work, so I ended up using the link that Clever just passed me.
I think we're well underway after 6 minutes. I would say you can get started, Lukash.
Yes, exactly what I wanted to say. So thank you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Lukáš. Some of you may not know me. I'm one of the core developers of Avocado, and I'll be guiding you through today's meeting. Most of the work we do, we track via Trello. So let me share the Trello with you. Oh, it broke. Oh, not again. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's still working for me. Sorry, let me try to rejoin because I'm not able to share my screen for some reason.
You're muted, Adamar.
I was saying that this is the second time we broadcast it live, and issues like that are expected, including myself speaking while muted.
Okay, so here we are. So in case you haven't seen Trello board yet, you can check it out on our pages, or let me share the link here for those who have like low bandwidth and don't see everything. I guess this site is pretty visible, right? So if you have problems reading it, just let me know. There you can see the previous sprint, and this is the list for things we done this sprint. Let me go through them and introduce the changes in Avocado in recent. So this Avocado is called the Doctor Who. So unless you know, check it out. It's a good series. One item we did is that if you remember the remote copy, if you're using that, it's a way to run tests remotely, and the remote no copy. Even when you use the remote no copy, which says that you should not copy the files, it used to discover the tests, but this is not intended because you run them remotely, which means you're not interested in whether the test is here locally. So we fixed this issue, and they are not discovered anymore, so you can run remote tests with remote no copy that are not available locally. Next item was the asset fetcher. Like we introduced in previous sprint the way to expire assets, which is quite useful feature. The problem is that when you run Avocado in parallel, there was a potential race condition where you try to fetch the asset twice. So Amador actually created a nice class to handle files, files race conditions nicely. Of course, if you alter the change, or if you change the cache directory directly, it's not handled. So, but if you run Avocado in parallel, it's now safe with asset fetcher. Now we have another fix to asset fetcher was that the local file URLs did not actually check for the hash files, which was potential issue as we check them for remote like FTPs or HTTP. So again, it's not handled by Amador. There is one change to fail fast. This is this feature recently introduced, like in previous sprint, we added the fail fast option to actually run the tests, and with the first failed test to actually chicken out or basically bail out and say, okay, this failed. That's quite useful for developers. And Amador added this fail fast option for replay. So now when you replay a job which was already recorded with fail fast, it again fails fast in the replay. The thing is that in order to force on or force off it during the replay, we have to change slightly the way you enable it. Like previously it was -- fail fast without arguments. Now, because we want to allow people to either inherit the previous runs option, or we want to force it on or force off, we change it, and you have to use -- fail fast on or off explicitly. So there was a slight change, but this feature was added recently, so hope nobody has an issue with that. Next thing, the utils process library got a new method to get PID of the process you are executing by it, which is useful for lower level interactions. Then we have the log, the exit status and execution time. This turns out to be quite useful, at least for myself. I hope you like it as well. If you remember, when you execute via Avocado utils processes a process, and it's in verbose mode, it logs the command line, it logs the standard output, it logs the standard error. So we added yet another output, and that's that the command finished with some status after how many seconds, which could be useful in when debugging. Note that this log actually occurs not when the process finishes, but when Avocado actually discovers that the process finished, which is not the same. Like it could happen later. It happens basically whenever you pull or wait for the test for the command to finish. But still quite useful improvement with just one line. Then we have the bug missing module. I expect basically previous sprint we introduced the Avocado plugins Docker to run tests inside the Docker container transparently. It depends on any spec, so we added this dependency to requirements. Like currently, we only have one big requirements file, but unless you're using that plugin, you don't actually need a spec module. So right now we don't distinguish between this, but we have some initial works on that, and we would like to decrease the number of required libraries to be installed. So unless you use Avocado Docker, you can safely run it without the AXPEC. By the way, I haven't mentioned it. I'm trying to go as quickly as possible, but feel free to stop me, interrupt me, ask questions at any time. Next item we tackled was the review and update Avocado Bird for initial integration with Fetchu. So basically, guys from Fetchu asked us about a project to use for like basic QEMU testing. Basically, just run QEMU. So we have two options in Avocado, which is Avocado Bird and Avocado VT. As he needed just the basic support, we said the Avocado Bird could be an option. And we went ahead and polished that experimental project, which is actually a newer experimental project. Right now we are co-working and polishing everything. So he's using Avocado Bird right now. So we may see some commits and some polishing work and ongoing process in Avocado Bird. Hopefully it gets more attention. So like that. Next one is actually remove RPMs from Avocado Bird current because we used to ship Avocado Bird, but as it turns out, Avocado Bird is an experiment project still in like early stages. So we decided to remove RPMs, and people should always use it from sources. So if you're using Avocado Bird, beware that it's not shipped anymore, but it's still there. You can still download it, and the documentation was updated on how to get it. Next one is an experiment, quite interesting one, to evaluate support for RR in addition to GDB. And let me hand over the word to Kleber, who worked on this, and he will share his findings.
Okay, guys. So as Lukáš was saying, we developed a feature to actually allow binaries inside a test to be inspected live with GDB. That was, excuse me, that was something we thought would be very useful because the status of a test process inside a given test scenario is something quite important to a developer to be able to find a possible bug. But then kind of a revolutionary tool called RR appeared. It's still like in somewhat early stages of development, but still quite useful, and its use has been increasing in the community. So we just thought we could evaluate how RR could be used as well with Avocado to improve test debugging. So just imagine a scenario with RR, just some basics on RR. It allows you to record about everything a test process, a given process. It doesn't have to be anything related to test. The process actually, what happens with the process in any kind of x86 machine. So the idea is to preserve the state and actually be able to replay it later, no matter what are the circumstances of the environment you're replaying that, but you're going to get the same results the original run. Yeah, the same behavior the original run actually achieved. So I'm just going through a very simple test code that could be run, that could have run in a test job in a remote machine or something like that. And let's just pretend for a while that a lot happened to generate a good QCal image, and we're going just to test it if it's good enough. And let's happen that even more happened, and we don't know what happened, that actually generated a bad image. So if this was we would get a failure, and the idea is that the developer would find this failure on his early morning job report, and after that he would like to investigate what happened to that process. The thing is, if we're not keeping track of everything, even the images, which could be like many gigabytes long, it would be a very hard task to actually understand what happened here to actually generate a bad image. But if we actually use RR, so we could samples, and this is something which we introduced. It is quite simple wrapper. The test failed as the original one did, but the difference is that in the test results, let's go to the latest one, we have a single test, which is this one. In the data directory, we have RR, and every single execution of QEMU-IMG was saved. So we could just say RR replay QEMU-IMG2. We could run this binary. We could inspect what happened. And these are features of RR at this time. They're not like Avocado features or even GDB features, but we could break into earlier points of the execution of this process, and we could reverse continue up to that point and inspect what happened in earlier places of the process. The nice thing to mention here is that if we ship the Avocado test results, someone which would be debugging this would not need the QCal files, would not need the same environment. Just the result directory of Avocado would allow this kind of inspection, and it would hopefully allow somebody to pinpoint the exact reason of the failure. So it's an early experimentation with RR, but it seems useful, and we are going to expand on that hopefully.
So RR only needs the trace it generated.
Right. Every single.
Plus the binaries. I mean, you need the original binaries and libraries.
Yeah.
But not.
So you also need the same version of the binary that the test ran, right?
Yes. And in this case, it's calling QEMU-IMG from in this case, from my standard Fedora box. So user would just use the standard binary from their own box, and they should match. If users actually compile their own binaries, they would need to preserve that and send it along the job results. And we have a data directory for that in Avocado, so users could just copy that over.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you, Lukash.
Okay, so I really like this. I mean, I played with it for a while, and RR is really nice tool. I wish something like that would be for Python as well. So Let's go. Let's move on. Unless there are questions. We have one worm fix, which is distribute Cartesian config. We have some contributions to Avocado list, which actually supersedes the need for Cartesian config. I mean, yeah, sorry. This card was originally about including Cartesian config as a subcommand to Avocado or as a contrib script, basically to link to a file which already exists there and is used by Avocado VT. But the thing is that Avocado list did not support all the listings. Now it supports most of it. So if you still need to use Cartesian config, it is going to be still there in virt test Cartesian config, but only really, really advanced users may need it in some really low-level debugging. So we won't introduce it as a real Avocado command.
We could, distribute that library into a separate package. It could, be distributed by pip, and you could just say pip install Cartesian config. We could just split that module up from the Avocado VT code base, and then have it as a separate utility such as AExpect.
Yes, that's also an alternative. Like right now, we decided that it's probably not needed, but yes, if more users ask for it, we can definitely ship it in separate as AExpect.
Yeah, this is actually part of Avocado VT, so it's up to them. They have their own maintainers. If they want to distribute it separately, it's fine by us.
Okay, let's continue on next item, which is the skip core dump support when not running as root. So another optional feature of Avocado is like a set of 3 scripts to generate to enable core dump support and to collect them per test in one directory, in the test results directory. So this feature is actually system-wide. So once an user installs those scripts, they are enabled for everybody, and it kept failing for non-root users. So we basically added this simple check, and we are not just finishing. We also record into the debug log that the core dump support was skipped because you're not running as root. It's a contrib script, so feel free to modify it, like use sudo if you want to, or whatever. But by default, it basically just logs and exits if you're not a super user. And if you didn't check it yet, do check it out, because core dumps are a great way to analyze your failures.
Well, you could interact with journal CTL. Core dump CTL that is available on systemd, and you can get the core dumps without being root, as far as I know. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it.
Yes, definitely there is a card to actually work on this item. This is basically the simpler first kind of version for now. So thank you for this note.
And it works for non-systemd distros as well.
Yeah, basically our plan is to add this proper solution, and if there is no support for systemd, we can fall back to it anytime. Next one is Avocado VT Virtual Console test hangs on failure. Basically, there was a bug in Avocado VT where it left some processes behind, and the whole Avocado actually hanged. So this was addressed and fixed. We have a bug that source installation pip included broken when missing dependencies. Basically, Kleber adjusted the setup UI, which is used to deploy or install or create the pip packages in order to work. Like, let me just note here, this is the first big meeting. Avocado is called Avocado, and its package is also Avocado. it's installed in like libraries, side packages as Avocado. But as there is a clash in existing packages on pip or on PyPI, if you want to install it, you have to use pip install Avocado framework, not just Avocado. It's quite important, and the product is the same as you install it from sources. It creates the side packages Avocado, just that the name is different because there is an Avocado library, if I'm not mistaken, from Django.
Yeah, it's a Django package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But everything should work transparently. You can pip install Avocado framework and you will get Avocado library installed.
There's actually something which I'd like to mention very quickly. We have been cheating with regards to name just because we ship a package that developers would import as Avocado, and Avocado is already the name of this Django library. But I thought it was like a big issue, but it turns out it's not. So we might be able to just normalize everything to Avocado framework when it comes to the name of the package in PyPI. So, and also responding to a comment that Lucas posted, our goal is to make Avocado installable and usable just by meaning that it is a requirement from your Python package. So either doing pip install Avocado framework or mentioning it in your install requires in setup UI or requirements.txt. We're splitting a lot of the dependencies, removing, we're really breaking plugins. The HTML is the first one, which has additional dependencies. We're making it optional. So our short-term goal is to allow users to just pick Avocado to run their tests just by mentioning that Avocado framework is a requirement. So it simplifies the setup on machines in grids and things like that, if they want to install it dynamically.
Right. Well, I faced this bug on Scylla cluster tests. I wanted to provide a simple way for users of that particular test suite to install everything necessary into one virtual environment. And then I hit this bug, but I worked around it. And if we can get that fixed, that will be much easier. My scripts will be greatly simplified. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the time's ticking. You're almost in the at the end, so let's finish it quickly. Avocado lists using paginator even when not listing results. This was actually fixed not by disabling the paginator, but after a short discussion, we discussed that probably it's better to change the default paginator to wrap lines. For benefits you will see in the next demonstration, basically after this one. So basically now the paginator is wrapped. You can restore to the original paginator by setting the paginator environment variables if you don't like this current behavior. And now we have another demonstration, and that's going to be mine, and it's about the Avocado list arcs. So let me share my other screen. Hopefully it's the right one. Yes, that's me. So, if you remember, there is this Avocado list command. In the previous sprint, we did some job to add all these VT arc machine or guest OS, no filter, TMUBin, or other options which are there in Avocado run commands, which helped when you were running when you were discovering jobs on different architectures than the default one. We also, for some while, we have the Avocado VT list guests, which basically, when you execute it, it shows you all the available guest OSs, which is nice when you're unsure what versions do you run. But still, there is this this filtering on which machine do you run. But sometimes you may want to actually run on a different machine, which was hard to tackle. So yes, you can run it with --vt vt arch to force change it to different architecture. But still, you may want to actually, you don't know what's available unless you try. So we implemented --list arch, which actually wraps all its arcs, which lists all. It lists the architectures and machine time combinations. Yeah, it's. I'm sure it takes a bit longer because it loads all the Avocado tests. Yeah, and you can see that for my current filter, which is JOS 23, which is the default, I have two options. I can run it on either, both are for x86-64, either the old i440 FX or Q35. The thing is, this works also with the guest OS. So if I specify rel 7 too, you can see that it offers, for example, the ARM or the P series LE. So which is way nicer, and I know what all architectures can be executed on rel 7 arch. Obviously, I would have to enable soft emulation for some of these. The last is that sometimes you don't know which OS you need to run, but you know which architecture do you need. So you can let me show it again. You can actually say that your guest architecture is empty string, which is a hack to actually get all available machine architectures and profiles. And now, for example, I want to run S390, and yes, there is, oh, sorry. There is one profile for S390, and it's on Fedora 22. So basically, do you remember there is a new option, list architectures, and it's available for you. Any question regarding that feature? If not, then let me go back to Trello and proceed to another item, which is a tool to generate diff reports. And I would like to ask Amador to show us a short demonstration.
Sure, let me share my screen. Desktop. Okay, this diff is actually an Avocado plugin that allows users to compare two given jobs, and it compares different information about the jobs. It goes through the job results and collect the information and then make the diff in a format that users are supposed to be used with, which is a diff, a unified diff. So here, a quick example. If you run a given job, and then you change something, sorry, failed tests. And if you change something, you can actually compare with Avocado diff. You can identify a job by the job ID, or also you can identify it by the actual job results directory, and it will show you unified diff saying what changed between the two jobs. Here the job IDs that are exposed, the total time, the test results, and also we can filter the results. We can filter the diff. the filter, we can say, for example, no sysinfo, so it will not show this information, which is the sysinfo. Or we can also just show one information that we want. Let's say we want to see only the time difference between two jobs, and it will show only the difference in time. And if you don't like this unified diff, you can also use your own diff tool with the option create reports. And then we will create files with the reports instead. And then you can, for example, use your preferred tool to see the reports. And you can go through the diff information that you have. And also we have support for creating the diff report in HTML. So we can say a place to put the reports, and it will be written there. And you can also open the browser, so you can see the report in HTML, opening directly your browser here. It's very big because we have the sysinfo also being reported here, but if you filter sysinfo out, then you can see a better report. Okay, so a small report with the difference in test results. We have some documentation here. We are currently making the diff about 6 items in between the jobs. We can always add more sections to the diff, and that's it. If you have any questions.
Looks great. Kudos.
Yes, it's an ongoing process. Like this is the first implementation, and we're looking forward to your opinions and like suggestions. Yeah, any questions? No? Last done item is the raise exception when asset fetcher fails. This used to be the default. We tried to change it to return none, but but we reverted it back because tests were not prepared for it. So if you use asset fetcher and it fails to download the item, it does not return the none, but it raises an exception. But now it raises its custom exception, so you know certainly that that it's this problem and not some other random thing. Yeah, basically we already moved to the planning phase in terms of time, but let me quickly go through the work in progress. There are some items like the job API or the job log should be work log time, which are being discussed, or in some parts of the job time were already merged in this sprint, but it's still an ongoing process. We will continue on it in the next spring. The same for this avocado host variant, for the host variant. Decouple the multiplexer, it was already discussed. Now it's the time to actually develop it. We have to set up and properly announce the policy for avocado missed tests. It's still in a process. We are still negotiating what are the outcomes and what we can do to improve on that front. There is this avocado plugin bug. Actually, 2 of them. They are addressed by another pull request, which is still waiting for review and won't probably get into this sprint. Functional parallel test for log file. Currently, it was tested just manually. We are still tweaking some attributes. Yeah, but avocado conf can handle tilt. Basically, again, pull request already written, but probably won't get into this pull request. And last is the experiment to filter with test tags, which is a new issue brought in this sprint, and it's an experiment phase, so basically no things right now. There are three items which are still in the backlog and haven't been picked up yet. Those two are here for a longer time. They are actually ongoing process. Like we keep improving those two cars, but we are not still in the phase that we could say that they are done. And there is one last which needs to be picked the next sprint, which is to unify the Avocado ISO 9660 library, which is in both Avocado and Avocado VT. So we need to unify them and make sure we're using the same version everywhere. Yeah, are there any questions regarding the sprint? What we changed? Any questions on that one? If not, let me just say that we finished the self-tests. Everything looks good. We made some last-minute fixes. We are most probably going to release Avocado probably tomorrow, right, Kleber?
Yes, it usually takes a few hours to just package everything, write the proper release notes. So either late today or early tomorrow, you should receive the announcement.
Okay, cool. Which means that we can move to a next part of this meeting, which is the planning. So let me archive the previous sprint and add done 41.
Amador, please do the honors of naming the next release.
Next sprint facilitator will be Amador, so he's got the option name the sprint. And now we'll move all like cards we want to, or we see the priority to backlist, to backlog. So let just give us a few moments to do that, and then we will go through basically the next step or through items we will try to cover in the next sprint. In the meantime, you can think about your questions or whether you have some issues, you want to raise some priorities. Yeah, basically you can come up with some questions. And by default, all bugs needs to be fixed. Okay, I think I'm done. How about you guys?
Looking. I guess we are very good there. We can always move some more cards, but right now I think that's it.
Okay, Kleber?
Yeah, I think that should give an idea of what we are going to do in the next release.
Okay, so yeah, like keep a note, that this is not final. We can also bring some items later in the sprint, but basically our focus in the next sprint will be primary on those items, which means we'll try to basically polish the test methods and Avocado attributes. This is the ongoing, already existing process. We'll try to work on the multiple machine support. Again, quite a while with us, so we already had some alternatives, and we tried to come up with another ones. We have the sysinfo collect journal output instead of warlog messages, yeah, which is, if I was mistaken, the thing Lucas talked about. Then we have the input.
Cardam. He was also talking about Cardam. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Improve ISO 9660. That's what I described previously. Basically, there are two libraries used basically on both places, so we need to unify them. There is this power on hangs on the QEMU process when the QEMU process dies. Basically, you've heard of Avocado Word, not Avocado VT, and there is a possibility that when the QEMU dies, the test can hang forever, which we need to address. We have another bug, quite important one, which is that the VM domain may try to log in via different IP. Yeah, there was some discussion regarding the fixes. Right now, we'll try to avoid this problem, and then we'll try to use the new features of libvirt to address this issue. But basically, when you're using --VM domain, for now, make sure to use --VM hostname as well, because if the domain does not yet exist but is created, the IP address can sometimes change. It's not always in 100%, but it can change. Next bug which we see here is that the --remote does not work with class method test references. Basically, the --remote tries to copy the files from the local machine to the remote machine unless we use --remote no copy. And currently it does not support the references like pass test, double quote the test. So we try to work on that front, maybe change some things to make it work. Use lang_c for sysinfo gathering by default. This is like unsure, but basically when you run on one machine and then you transfer the results on another machine, when the user uses locals, it produces different output, which can be confusing. So we'll try to unify this, maybe do it optional to actually change it to a different length. So if you have any opinions, you can speak up now. There is this, yes?
No, that's a sensible behavior, forcing lang equals c. I think that's a very good thing to do.
Yeah. By the way, I'm talking only about the sysinfo gathering. Yeah, it's important. I'm not talking about Avocado execution because people want or may want to use custom locals there. So it's about the part where we really just collect the sysinfo information.
It would be configurable anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it will be definitely configurable.
And you don't necessarily want to override, especially if you're running a diff, because you want the user's default language to use lexical sorting.
Yeah, that's actually the motivation. Test status start should be considered as error, which is like internal part we find like uneasy, and we think it should be changed. So we need to explore that. We have a preserved test environment for post-mortem debug. Basically, sometimes when you run tests, you may want to debug it later, afterwards, or which can be difficult if, for example, you create several items in the temp directory, or if you create like virtual machines. So we want to add a flag to actually keep the environment clean. Like, don't clean the environment, to keep it the way it was, which means leave the temp directories, leave the VMs running, don't clean up anything. And the last one is the sysinfo fails silently. Basically, right now, when you don't have right to run the command, or when the command is not present, in sysinfo gathering, it fails silently, and we have no information about that it failed. So we want to address that most certainly in debug log, because we don't want to spam in the UI, because sometimes it's like it's the way you don't have right to read some files. That's like common, but we need to know about that. Okay, so any questions so far? Any ideas? Any issues which you need to tackle, or you need us to tackle?
No, I'm fine.
Or any suggestion regarding this meeting? Was it fine? Did you find it useful? Are there things we can improve? I mean, obviously we can move it on the mailing list, but in general, if you have some feedback, feel free to share it now. Okay, it looks like Avocado is working really well. If you don't have any questions, everything works well, no issues.
Oh, at least well enough. So good enough for me.
Okay, so I think that's it. So see you guys in hopefully 3 weeks, and yeah, feel free to share any ideas, recommendations, or feedback. And happy coding.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot,
Bye.
Lukash.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.